73% of millennials, 66% of Gen Z, and 50% of baby boomers and seniors are included. I have all the details and what these percentages mean right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now in this video, I want to share with you the details of a new study that was released showing the financial stability of different age groups all across the country, and this study better illustrates what's going on with the finances of the average American all across the country. Let's get into it, as these are some pretty shocking numbers. However, really fast before we do, thanks so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe right down below the video, as I'm here for you right by your side each and every day, doing all the research and breaking it all down into these short videos so you can stay posted on what's actually going on, and anything popping up right now you can possibly grab and or take advantage of during this very busy and confusing time, and of course this very expensive time that we've been living through for the last couple of years. So again, please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and let's get into it and talk about the study and what all of these percentages mean. All right, so this study was released and it shows the financial stability of average Americans all across the country and what is really going on with their finances. And you're going to see here very shortly, it's a pretty ugly picture for the vast majority of people. In fact, they found from this study right here, 60% of the people all across the country, regardless of age range, is living paycheck to paycheck. 60%. So in other words, if you step out of your house and you see 10 people, 6 of them are living paycheck to paycheck. The other 4 are probably not too far off, right? So that's exactly what this report is now showing. However, they break it down by age group. Now, obviously, you probably figured that out based on the percentages that I gave you at the beginning of this video, but let me tell you really quickly here, because we can clearly see what's going on, and it's all based on inflation. Our favorite friend here over the last couple years, inflation. We love it, right? Not just kidding, we don't love it at all. But as a result of all the inflation that we've been dealing with for the last couple of years now, it's because of this, prices rising on everything, and they also pointed it out in this report that incomes are not keeping up with real inflation. Wow, that's a shocker. Never saw that one coming, right? How many of you are surprised and shocked by this data that real inflation is higher than incomes, and that incomes have not kept up with real inflation over the last couple of years? Let me know down below if you're completely shocked by that information. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic right now because I think we all completely recognize that this inflation is way higher than what they're telling us, way higher than what they're reporting, and the little 2%, 3%, 7%, 8%, 9% raises that people have been getting in their incomes, whatever that comes from, whether it's earned income from a 9-to-5 job or fixed income benefits, it doesn't really matter. Whatever somebody's getting from a raise on their income is simply not keeping up. For example, let me tell you this much. Last year, in 2022, food prices were up about 13.5%. Did you get a 13.5% raise? I don't know anybody that did. If you did, please let me know, and let me know what you're doing, because that's a massive raise. Nobody, for the most part, got a 13.5% raise. Now, obviously, there's probably somebody walking around out there that got a 13.5% raise. And remember, this is just on food. Unless you're farming and growing all of your own food, I'm guessing you're probably buying some of your food from the local stores. I'm just guessing, right? Obviously, I don't know what people do. I'm just simply saying I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm taking the assumption that most people probably buy some fruit from the store. Well, if you did, food prices were up 13.5% last year. They're still up about 10 to 10.5% right now this year, okay? That's a lot higher than what most people got as a raise. Anyway, let me talk you through the age groups here and what all these details mean. But here's what they found. From all the people across the country, millennials, 73% of millennials are living paycheck to paycheck. That means only 27% of millennials walking around out there are actually having a little bit more money than paycheck to paycheck. Like I said earlier, they're probably a little bit off of paycheck to paycheck. I mean, seriously, maybe they have like a little bit of extra money on a monthly basis, but probably not that much. But 73% millennials, paycheck to paycheck. In other words, you can't really do a whole lot with that, right? You're just going out there grinding 5 days a week, doing whatever you can to get some money, and then it always goes right out the door for bills and living expenses and gas in the car and whatever else people spend their money on. But that's what's going on there for millennials. Now, Gen Z, right? 66% of Gen Z, same thing, paycheck to paycheck. What a rough way to live. I mean, seriously, but this is the reality for a huge percentage of the population right now, right? Now get this, seniors. In this report, they acted like, oh, seniors are good, they're high and dry. 50% of seniors and baby boomers are living paycheck to paycheck. That still means that half of baby boomers and seniors are still living paycheck to paycheck. Let's remember one more thing really quickly. I do know for a fact there are a lot of you here in this community that are seniors, older adults, fixed income beneficiaries, a lot of you here in this community. Okay, guess what else is true about this group of people? Most of which are living on a fixed income. Not everybody, but a huge percentage of baby boomers and seniors are living on a fixed income, whether it's a pension, whether it's Social Security, retirement, SSDI, SSI, VA, some type of fixed income benefit. Well, that simply means that 5 out of every 10, 50%, are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, based on the research that I've done, based on communicating with a lot of you here in the community, I would assume that those numbers are actually higher than what's actually being released in this report. But again, that's just my perspective. Based on the people that I've communicated with here in this community, it seems that those percentages are probably a lot higher. But either way, that's still a lot of people. So you can clearly see here, there's a lot of people out there across the entire country, regardless of age range, that are still living paycheck to paycheck, right? So as a result of this, does this illustrate that we have a strong, robust economy here in the United States and that the American people are doing well? Well, no. Here's what it shows. It shows that the American people are getting money through earned income, through fixed income benefits, wherever people get money on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, doesn't really matter. And that money is flowing right back into the economy because we have a spending problem. No, because of rapidly rising prices, because of inflation, because of very inflated prices on literally everything. People are just taking that money and pushing it right back into the economy to buy the things that we need. And as a result of this, the economy is like a big siphon, right? It's like a big old siphon. It pops into our pocket, into our bank account, takes all of our money, and then it just hits the road and goes and gets the next guy, right? So kind of a tough situation, but this is the reality of what's going on here. And again, this report was just released, but it was in reference to last month. Doesn't really matter whether it was last month or yesterday. We can clearly see that this is still a real thing. Now, here's what else is interesting about this. This is the same song and dance, the same story that we've been talking about for nearly 2 years now. Now, obviously, the reports continue to change. The statistics continue to change. The percentage of people living paycheck to paycheck obviously continues to change. But it's pretty much the same thing. We've been seeing a lot of people, a huge percentage of our population living paycheck to paycheck for the last 2 years or so, right? Since this whole inflation thing kicked off back in about early to mid 2021, when inflation kicked off, and here we are all these years later, 2 years later, and we're still dealing with all of this. Even though, get this, it was in the summer of 2021, Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, who is probably pretty smart, or supposed to be anyway. Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, again, probably supposed to be pretty smart, apparently, trying to be smart, or supposed to be smart anyway. Both of these two came out and said, don't worry, everybody, it's transitory. All this inflation, it's transitory. In other words, that's just a really smart way of saying it's really short-lived. It's short-term. Don't worry, everyone. It'll be gone here in no time. Well, I guess I'm not really sure what the timeline is that we're looking at here, but 2 years does not really seem like a short amount of time, in my opinion, when it comes to higher prices on everything. Can we all sustain for maybe a couple months? Well, we don't want to, but we can. We probably can. Most people can probably pay higher prices for a couple months, as they indicated, right? Transitory, short term. But here we are 2 years later, and we're still dealing with these high prices. So is this the new normal? It's the new normal. Whether we like it or not, these prices are not really coming down all that much unless it's on some things. Some prices will come down, but for the most part, this is the new normal, and this is what we're going to get to deal with going forward as well. Now, does it mean that prices are going to continue to rise rapidly? No, it just simply means that the new baseline as these prices have come down is just going to be significantly higher than what it was. So those products that we were buying 2 years ago for, whatever X dollars is now just going to come back and settle at a higher price. Let me give you a quick example. Let's just say that 2 years ago you were buying, 5 pounds of potatoes. Again, I'm just making something up. I have no clue. I'm just giving you a quick example here, okay? This is just to better illustrate what's going on. Let's just say that 2 years ago, 5 pounds of potatoes was, say, $3.69. Again, I'm not really sure what they are. I'm just giving this as an example, okay? 2 years ago, 5 pounds of potatoes, $3.69. Now, they went up to, let's just say last year during the peak of all the inflation, let's just say that same 5-pound bag of potatoes went up to, say, $6, okay? Again, just using an example here to better illustrate this. So it went up to $6. Now, when it comes back down, does it mean it's going to go back down to $3.69 as it was 2 years ago? Not a chance. It's probably going to come back to, say, $4.69, right? So the settling point now is going to be significantly higher than what it was when we saw these prices start to increase about 2 years ago. And that's just going to be the new normal going forward. Does that kind of make sense, that example? But now spread this across all of the different food products, all the different products and services that you buy out there, and it all adds up, right? 50 cents here, $1 there, $2 there, 22 cents there, 13 cents there, $1.09 there, $2.16 there, whatever. The list goes on and on. Well, guess what? Here we are, and you add that all up on a weekly, a monthly basis, and now you're talking hundreds of dollars more for the same old things just because prices went up, and what comes up, or what goes up, does not always come back down to where it originated from, right? Anyway, long story short, prices are high, they're going to stay high, incomes are low, they're not going to keep up with inflation, and this is what's going on, paycheck to paycheck for the vast majority of Americans. Super sad situation, and they continue to tell us, hey, inflation's coming down. Really? In what world are we living in? Because I'm not sure where you live, but everything that we look at continues to be very high, very elevated, and they say, oh, don't worry, prices are coming down. Okay, fine. Maybe prices on eggs have come down like a little bit, right? Remember, like, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so ago, and I'm not sure exactly when it was, but it was about 6 months or so ago, we say egg prices were like $8 a dozen. It was like crazy high. Okay, fine. Maybe egg prices have come down by like, I don't know, $4 a dozen. Maybe they're down a little bit. Fine. Okay, you're right. Egg prices have come down. But who cares? That's just eggs. We need to see this across the board on everything. But unfortunately, that's not happening. And it's not going to happen either. So we'll see fluctuations in price. That will be a thing. But unfortunately, they're not going to be anywhere near what they were in 2021 when this whole inflation thing kicked off. Anyway, hope this one helps you out. Again, thought this was an interesting report. Wanted to bring it to your attention right away, like I do in a lot of these videos here. I want to keep you posted with what's really going on, not just the smoke that they're blowing all the time and telling us all these things that not necessarily are true, right? Anyway, I'm here to help you out. I'm here to continue to advocate on your behalf. So again, please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, take care, have a good one, and catch you again later.